Welcome back to my kitchen, my keto naturopath kitchen. Today, I have a carnivore chili that I'm making. I have a great chili recipe that I call my Super Bowl chili recipe, which is based off of Butter Bob's chili, and I love it, but there's a lot of tomato sauce in it, and so it's very high carb. And I thought, well, let's try to make up a carnivore one where there's no tomato. I love it, but it doesn't always love me the next day because there are so many carbs in the tomatoes. So I'm starting off with 1 pound of ground beef, and I'm making this in the slow cooker. You don't have to make it in the slow cooker. You can make it on the stove, but I like to make it in the slow cooker because you just put everything in, turn it on, come back later. Now this is very low fat ground beef. It's 97% fat-free with 3% fat. And the reason I'm doing that is that when I cook in the slow cooker, I like to use low-fat ground beef so that my finished product isn't all greasy. If you're doing this on the stove and you pre-brown the burger, hamburger, ground beef, whatever, then you can use whatever percentage of lean ground beef you like. And to that, I add 2 pounds of stew meat. If you can look at this, this isn't really stew meat. It's called Denver steak. I have no clue what that is. And I cut it up into stew meat pieces. But this seems to be very fatty, so I'll get plenty of fat from that. So that's 2 pounds. And I'm making a mess. Now I'm going to put the spices on next because I want them to soak into all of the meat. So we're going to start off with a teaspoon of onion powder. Again, you can add more or less. It's not exact, and unless you're baking, amounts are not exact. Just put in what you feel. Again, strict carnivore. This is not because I do use spices, but a tablespoon of garlic powder. Then there's 4 tablespoons or 1/4 cup of chili powder. So this is what's actually going to give it the chili. So I suppose if you wanted to leave everything else out and just do chili powder. And then cumin. I love cumin, so 2 tablespoons of cumin. So this would be extremely low carb chili, and a tablespoon of salt. And it calls for a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne powder, more or less to taste. This I made from our own. We grew hot Portugal hot peppers, which are fiery hot. I dehydrated them in my dehydrator and then ground them up. I'm actually going to put a whole teaspoon in because I like nice, hot, spicy food. And then I have my homemade beef broth that I canned. And I took the fat off it because I don't want the added fat in here. And, well, before I do that, I almost forgot the Italian sausage, the hot sauce. This is not really hot sausage, but it's very hard to find clean sausage without sugars and fillers in it. So I've started to make my own. I mixed this up yesterday to let all the flavors meld, and then I'm just going to add this. Now if you can find clean sausage, go ahead and use it. You know, sausage in the casings might hold up better. I have not yet filled casings with sausage. That will be coming, and if it's successful, I will have a video on how I do that. So this is my homemade beef broth. It's about 4 cups, a little under 4 cups. So I'm just going to pour this over. Now your broth will also depend on how juicy you like your chili. If you don't like it real juicy and you like it thicker, do less broth. But this is how I like it. So I'm going to put it in the slow cooker, 4 hours on low, and I'll test it. And if it's ready, then I'll see you back in 4 hours. If it's not ready yet, I'll maybe turn up the heat and wait till it's done, and I'll see you when it's done. So the carnivore chili is done. It's been in the slow cooker for 4 or 5 hours, and now I get to taste it. You can see the sausage balls stayed intact. Get a piece of beef. That is so good. This will be a great carnivore chili for Super Bowl Sunday. If you're not dairy free, you can add a little cheese on top of it, maybe a little bit of sour cream. I like it just the way it is. If you're not true carnivore, maybe add a can of fire roasted diced tomatoes, but I don't even miss the tomato sauce. This is delicious.